Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. As always, I am here with another golf ball review. So this one here is one that we've all seen. We've seen them just hanging out in the pro shop individually, sold individually. We see them in the 15 packs at Walmart. They're so cheap. We think, oh, I'm losing a lot of them. Should I go ahead and just buy them just in case I got some water on me? That is the Pinnacle golf ball. We have the Pinnacle Rush today, and then in a few days I will have the Pinnacle Soft. But both of these golf balls are extremely on the cheaper side for sure. These golf balls retail in a 15 pack for about 20 bucks. So honestly, you can get it for almost $1 a golf ball. Very inexpensive. You can pick them up at Walmart. I think Dick's still has them. So Amazon has them. So honestly, you can get them just about anywhere. The convenience factor is always there, which is why I said we've all seen them at some point and thought, will they be good enough to at least hold my game and have fun, on the weekends as a weekend golfer? We're going to find out if they're that or even better or even worse. Let's get into the design of this golf ball. So Pinnacle, honestly, this is a pretty basic logo they've had forever, but at least they tried some flair with it. The last couple balls I've reviewed have been just really boring with their design, so it's good to see at least something different. The Rush goes with a red 4, whereas the Soft goes with just a black design all over. This one, the Pinnacle logo, and then with that little line running across there. And if we come over to the side, the alignment tool is basically non-existent. It's basically just words. This one says Rush in a really cool modern font. Reminds me of Flames a little bit, so I do like that, but I just don't like the alignment tool. I wish they'd put something a little thicker there so you could line your ball up. Having like a tiny line and then big words and a tiny line makes it a little more difficult to line your ball up. Not a big fan of that. Golf ball does feel a little plasticky. It's definitely got, one of the cheaper covers for sure, an iometer. You can definitely tell that. So it's not going to hold a green with its coating, that's for sure. But as long as the numbers can hold up decent, you can get value for the golf ball. Like I said, it might end up being good to some of you. Let's get out to the chipping and putting green. Let's see how we do. All right, so on the chipping and putting green with the Pinnacle Rush. So first of all, I expect this golf ball to be really soft, and it is. It's very, very soft. Coming off of the wedge, there's almost no feedback. It's very bouncy ball-ish. It really springs off there. And of course, there's not a lot of spin, so you're not gonna get any checkup whatsoever, whether you're trying to hit a cut or whether you're, trying to put a little left on it. I just was unable to get any type of checkup on it whatsoever, and as you can see from the videos there just isn't much to be had, which is expected with a two-piece golf ball. No big deal though, as long as you account for that. This is going to be a ball for more beginners anyway, so I don't expect that being a problem for most people who fit in this golf ball range. Coming off the putter, honestly, if you hit it in the center, it feels nothing. I mean, there's no feel whatsoever. It's just coming right off there with no feedback, and if you do hit it off the toe, there's just the slightest amount of feedback to where you can kind of tell, but other than that, it's a pretty soft golf ball. Very springy, definitely a bouncy ball effect on both ends, and overall some people do really like that. I enjoy it, but I want just a little more click and a little more feedback. But as far as the overall softness, that definitely is what this ball is all about. All right, so this is a very soft two-piece golf ball, so I expect it to do really well on the 9-iron, and guess what? 93.7, that is phenomenal. Excellent amount of ball speed there. 130.4 on the distance. I have never hit 130 except for one other time. That was with the Precept Laddie. So it's been a long time since I've hit 130 with my distance on the 9-iron. Just phenomenal. 124.5 on the carry, and then a 20.7. Wow, that is a high launching golf ball. So this golf ball being a two-piece, being really soft, meant for more of the beginner crowd, with a modern swing speed, it really just jumped off the club, went really high in the air and really far. So getting into the 7-iron, 6,233 on the spin. That's actually a pretty low spinning golf ball for a mid-iron. Most of the time I get in the 65 range, 66 lately. 107.6 on the ball mile per hour speed, which is awesome. Average to high there for sure. 163 on the distance, which is awesome. It's very rare I break 160, and then 151.6 on the carry. And then, so the reason you're getting that high of a number is because you have such a low spin, but a high mile per hour ball speed. So it might make it a little harder to stop on the green. It might roll off to the back occasionally, but you're gaining a little bit of distance, which is nice for some people. And then a 17.9 launch actually is pretty low, actually, which is really surprising. It's weird to see it launch so low, but it's coming off the club so hot that I will forgive that. I mean, if it had gone up a little higher, if it had been more of like an 18.5 launch or 19, I might have got darn near almost 170 out of it. Getting into the 5 hybrid, 3,712 on the spin, which is very, 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 very low. Very low, like one of the lowest I've tested. So I expect this golf ball to go pretty far. 116.9 on your ball mile per hour speed, which again is just a very, very good number, very high. 193.6. Which is the second highest I've ever tested with that club. Just phenomenal. 179.2, which is, again, for the carry, awesome. 13.3 on the launch, which is a little bit lower of a launch again. So, again, kind of the same thing as the 7-iron. Really low spin, really high mile per hour, ball speed, more distance, but they had to launch it lower because if it launched higher again, there's no telling what I would have got for distance. It would have probably been crazy. It probably would have been way higher and I would have a gapping issue. So I understand why they did that. Getting into the driver, the big stick, 2,931 on the spin number. So that's like a mid-high, 245.9, which is just a phenomenally high number. Getting that much carry out of a golf ball is really good. It's like one of the highest I've tested. 134.7 on the ball mile per hour speed, which is right in there with what I like to see. 134 is really that sweet spot. When I see a ball do 134 with my swing speed, that's where it needs to be. If it's extra, that's a bonus, but if it's right there, that's excellent. And then 225.1 on the carry, which is just phenomenal. Again, just one of the highest I've tested. And then 16 on the launch, which is a little bit higher of a launch, which is good to see. Again, I was mentioning it before, with the last 2 clubs, if I was just getting a little higher of a launch, well, this one I got higher of a launch, and it showed. It was one of the best I had tested with the driver. So if you're new to the channel, you might be wondering, well, Nick, this is a Pinnacle. Why is it testing so high? Why is it one of the best you've tested? Well, when you're an average swinger, the soft golf balls go further. They just do. Now, if I was swinging 110 mile an hour, the Pro V1 would by far go way farther than this, and it would by far get way more mile per hour ball speed than this. But being an average swinger who swings a driver 92 mile an hour, which I feel is the majority of the crowd out there, the majority, we all would like to think we're fast swingers and we need the pro balls, but the reality is most of us are still learning the game and are still students of the game, which is definitely even being me, even where I'm at. And golf balls like this that are softer, 2-piece, they're more forgiving. You can hit them off the toe and they still forgive you and go just as far. You can hit them off the inside a little bit. They don't side spin as much. It's more consistent. Whereas those pro balls, if you mishit them, you know it. If you've ever tried to hit a TP5X or a Pro V1 and you hit it off the toe a little and your hands feel like mushed butter afterward, that's the golf ball letting you know, hey, you probably shouldn't be playing this. It's meant for pros. Whereas this golf ball is more like, hey, we're just out here to have some fun. You mishit it, cool. And that's why my numbers were so good with this. And that, again, is kind of the whole purpose of this channel, finding golf balls like this to see how good they are. Everything so far has been great. Let's get into the durability and see how it held up. Honestly, looking at this golf ball, it is not that bad at all. There is a scrape there, it looks like, and there is a couple cuts and bruises. But what's crazy is it's not as bad as the AVX that I just tested, which is nuts to me. Durability is one of those things that I can never really predict. I always try to. I'm always off. I'm always not even close. And I would have never, if you'd have told me that my Pinnacle would have performed better than the AVXs I tested with durability, I'd have looked at you like you were nuts. And I'm looking at myself in the mirror like I'm nuts now, because this one, as you can tell from the pictures, is a lot better. Not perfect by any means. I would say definitely average, but better than some of the other ones I've seen. All right, so getting into it, who is the golf ball for? Well, this one's kind of interesting. The golf ball really performs well. Now, if you're someone who's looking for a consistent golf ball to play and you consider yourself more of an average golfer, the Cut Red performed really similar to this, and I like it a lot better. But the Pinnacle is a great golf ball for beginners, period. If you're someone who's learning to pick up the game, you're not that great, you're out on the weekends having fun, you want something that's going to perform really well because you just don't swing that fast, this is a good golf ball to have, especially because it's so accessible. It's very inexpensive. You can get them in almost any retail store. You can order them online. They sell them in the pro shops individually. So there's just so much access to them that if you're in a pinch and you need it, don't worry about this golf ball costing your game. Now, if you are someone who swings faster, 100 mile an hour plus, you might start to see a drop off a little bit. That's where you want to use your 3-piece and your 4-piece, and in TPX's case, a 5-piece. But you want to use those more firmer golf balls because that way it'll keep up with your swing speed. However, if you're under that, just out there to have a good time, need some golf balls, don't want to worry about it too much, I'm still going to always recommend the Cut Red first just because I love that company and I love what they do, but the Pinnacle would easily be in that top 3 list for golf balls in that category. I love it. I can't wait to try the Pinnacle Soft and see if it holds up just as well. Guys, as always, keep watching and keep saving, keep learning. Appreciate it as always. Till next time.